Good morning. Today I talk about IKEA. IKEA is vacant house in English. That is defined as the house which hasn't been lived anyone or used for more than a year. It seems that IKEA is not a big problem, but look at this statistic.
Yeah.
This bar graph represents the number of IKEA, and this line graph represents the IKEA rate. Both data are increasing steadily, and IKEA account for 30.6% of the total number of houses.
Mhm.
So it is not small problem in Japan.
Mhm.
My presentation is divided into 3 parts.
Mhm.
First, I will talk about why is the number of IKEA increasing and what is the problem. Next, I talk about a case of IKEA travel. And third, I talk about what should we do. First, I'd like to talk about why is the number of IKEA increasing. The biggest reason is aging society. Because many elderly people live alone, when they move into nursing home or pass away, the house is left behind. But the fact that there are many IKEA is not a big problem in itself. So what is the problem? If the house owner doesn't do management properly, IKEA causes a lot of troubles. I'll introduce about 3 main troubles. First, there is a possibility of collapse. It sometimes even injures people. Second, suspicious person may invade. There are cases of suspicious person sleeping there or setting fire. Third, the landscape gets worse. For example, it can be overgrown with plants. This house is not beautiful, isn't it? Next, I'd like to talk about a case of IKEA travel. There are newspaper articles. I'll introduce about 2 cases. In this case, IKEA collapsed due to a strong wind. Fortunately, no one was injured, but the house was completely destroyed. In this case, IKEA was on fire. It is believed to have been caused by a suspicious person. The house around the IKEA were also involved. Like these troubles, IKEA trouble is not only the IKEA get damaged, but also people around them endangered. Finally, I'd like to talk about solutions. What should we do to reduce IKEA trouble? The most important thing is not to leave IKEA. There are many ways. For example, you can sell house. There are choices that sell it directly to people or destroy house and sell land or sell it to a real estate agency. If you don't want to sell your house, you need to manage it well. If you have to manage it yourself, you can ask a management company. In my experience, when my great-grandmother died, her son didn't sell her house. So the house is IKEA now. But he visits and manages the house once a month. Thanks to that, there are no troubles and my family can use there like a second house now. So to wrap up my presentation, the number of IKEA is increasing. And if the house owner does not manage it properly, IKEA may cause troubles. Therefore, we must not leave IKEA. This is not too difficult, so let's do what we can do. Thank you for your kind attention. Do you have any questions? Sorry, your voice is muted.
Thank you. Yeah, that you have introduced a really serious problem. And thank you for your idea for the solution is to actually use the house so that it will stay in good condition and it will be lived in, because that's what houses are for, aren't they? To live in. So very good. Okay, thank you very much. Thank you. Very excellent start. Thank you. Then Yui, are you here?
Yes,
Okay, are you ready to present?
yes.
Yeah, thank you. Oh yes, let's give applause for you because that was very good. Thank you. Okay, there's half of you that don't have your cameras on. Is it possible for you to do that? I think your classmates would like to see you give your applause at the end for sure. Okay, Yui, let's get you in the picture. Oh, there she is. Okay.
Hi, do you know how many people died because overworking? Today, I will explain about karoshi.
Mhm.
The word karoshi is Japanese, and this word is used in foreign country because karoshi is very serious problem in Japan. Look at this graph. It shows that how many people died because overworking. As you can see from this graph, many people died from overworking. Recently, the number of deaths from overworking is gradually decreased, but it almost 200 people died yet. So I want to concentrate about this problem. First, I will talk about more specific about karoshi, and then recent situation in Japan, and finally, how to solve the problem. First, what is karoshi? Karoshi means overworking death, and it has two types. The first case is when a physical problem occurs. For example, brain stroke or heart disease. So it can be said that it is a sudden death. And second is when the mental problem occurs. If the people feel stressed because of heavy work time and occur depression, it might connect to suicide. So karoshi deeply associates suicide rate. Second, I want to talk about one of the serious karoshi accident in Japan. Do you remember the Dentsu lover suicide? It is occurred Christmas Day in 2015. Her name is Matsuri Takahashi. She was graduated from Tokyo University and entered one of the famous advertising company Dentsu. But she received power harassment, and surprisingly, her overtime hour in a month is 105 hours. Finally, she occurred depression and jumped out of the dormitory and died. By the way, look at this graph. It represents overtime hours in its country. The worst one is South Korea, and the worst two is Japan. So you can understand Japan's working situation is not good compared with foreign country, for example, UK, France, Germany, US, and so on. In these days, average of Japan's working situation is working time is 25 hours in a month, and you might think it is not long time. But the key point we have to focus on is that working hours are concentrated on some people. So what can we do to solve the problem? Recently, the government and many companies are making an effort to reduce overwork time and pay attention to power harassment. Thanks to this effort, working environment is improved. So I think create good community to be able to consult is important to stop karoshi. And I think it is hard to realize that you're stressed and you're originating depression. So it is important to do stress check is useful to protect karoshi. To sum up, karoshi has two types, physical problems and mental problems. And I talked about Japanese current situation, about dentsu lover suicide, and focus on overtime hours. Finally, we have to create community to be able to consult and this check is useful to protect karoshi. Thank you for your attention. This is URLs for the visuals.
It's another serious problem, but as you have shown that the now I think probably because of the Dentsu incident, it's really become well known in Japan and a source of shock and embarrassment in a way. So the problem is maybe going to try to be a little bit less in the future. Yes, okay, good. Thank you very much. Then our next presenter is, hang on, I can't move this. Okay, Shigura, are you ready to go? And then Kanta after Shigura and Hitomi.
Okay.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Shigura. My topic is aging infrastructure. But first, I'd like to explain infrastructure before showing its problems. Do you know what infrastructure is? Infrastructure means facilities that form on the basis of life. To be more specific, school, train, and hospital are all infrastructure. As you can see these pictures now, if infrastructure is aging, most people will absolutely be in trouble because they use infrastructure every day. I'd like to talk about problems of aging infrastructure. Next, example of accident due to aging infrastructure. At last, I'm going to show what we can do. Aging infrastructure causes two problems. First is cost problem. The infrastructure will definitely be weaker because of disasters such as earthquake and heavy rain. So we have to sustain them using a lot of money. The money is our tax. But Japan doesn't have enough tax to fix whole aging infrastructure, which means Japan is in debt. According to this graph, the cost of inspection and construction of them will increase. This is because most infrastructures in Japan were made in 1964 Olympics and become more than 50 years old now that need urgent inspection and construction. That's why more and more infrastructures are expected to get older. It means Japan will have a more debt in the future. This is cost problem. Second problem is accident. Aging infrastructure a possibility to be broken easily because it is not strong to stand. And a collapse or fall accident can happen. It may lead to death for us while using it. I'm showing one real accident. In 2012, a big accident happened. This is called Sasago Tunnel Sailing Board Fall Accident. 9 people are gone by big concrete board set on the above the tunnel. One of the causes is aging of boats. Aging infrastructure is very terrible for us. After Sasagо's accident, Japan decided to do reliable inspection of whole infrastructure once every 5 years. To do that, Japan has to need more inspectors even now. What we can do is reporting the status of infrastructure near your house. By doing so, it will be easier to decide order of inspection for government. We can use infrastructure not violently. This leads to long lasting of infrastructure. Let's see summary. Aging infrastructure causes cost problem and accident. Aging infrastructure leads to death for people. What we can do for better infrastructure are reporting the status of them and using correctly. These are references for the pictures. Do you have any questions? Thank you.
Again, another important problem, and thank you for your ideas for those, what we can do. It's pretty hard though, isn't it? When we rely on the government to do the infrastructure, but I guess there's infrastructure at many levels, not just your town, but your school and your house, and like you said, your area. So that's very good. Okay, thank you. Then let's go on. Thank you. Yes, thank you. Very good. Thank you. And thank you to Yui also. We didn't applaud after you. So Kanta, can you go now?
Yes.
Okay. And then Hitomi and then Misaki.
Hello, my name is Kanta. From now on, I would like to introduce you to littering. I will explain why I choose littering for this topic. I think most people have once dumped their trash on the road. It may seem trivial, but this accumulation is a heavy burden on society. I would like to proceed with the presentation in this order. First, explain the problem of littering. Second, situation of littering. Third, measure for littering. From now on, I would like to explain the problem of littering. Generally, the type of garbage to be thrown away is fixed. For example, cigarette butts, PET bottles, etc. And these trashes are dumped on narrow dim roads rather than big road. So how are these trashes handled? These trashes are collected by local volunteer group and cleaners. It is a huge financial burden for the region. Next is the situation of littering. Currently, the number of events has decreased due to the spread of COVID-19, but before Corona, many events such as cherry blossom viewing, camping, and barbecues were held, and cleaning up was a problem. As shown in the photo, food waste and bullshit were left, which was a big problem. And as this garbage flowed into the sea, and as this garbage flowed into the sea and the mountains, the environment which is animals live changes, and the garbage become a part of the body, making it to live. Finally, measure for littering. For example, Sapporo imposed a fine of 1,000 yen for working cigarettes. Overseas, many countries impose fine for littering, and Singapore is famous. It can be said that fines are gradually increasing in Japan as well. This YouTuber on the left is uploading a video that warns against littering. I think it is very effective for young people to call attention to littering by influencers in this way. And the most important thing is not the policy or influencers alert, but the consciousness to take the trash home or throw it in the trash can. It is very important for each person to change their consciousness. Summary, littering often occurs in black areas. Animals are suffering from littering. Steve and YouTuber are careful about littering. This is URLs of this slide. Thank you for listening. Do you have any question?
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. Wow, those pictures are sure surprising, but not unusual, are they? Yes, okay, thank you very much. Then let us go to Kanta. I think you're next, right? Kanta, are you here? Okay, wait. Oh, Chia, you already presented. Who's next? Hitomi.
Hello everyone. Today I'm going to introduce sexual assault in Japan. The reason why I chose this topic is because when I was in high school, I was shocked to hear that most of my friends around me had been molested on the train. First, comparison with the world and its domestic change. The chart on the left shows the crime rate for sexual crimes. From right to left, the graph shows the Netherlands, Germany, and the United States, and Japan is the second graph from the right. Yellow areas indicate sexual harassment and other offensive behavior, while green areas indicate indecent exposure and molestation. At the first glance, the number of cases in Japan is not that high, but I think the actual number is higher than this graph because many victims in Japan cannot sue even if they are victimized. Second, examples of sexual crime. One of the social problems in Japan is molestation on the trains. There have been so many incidents that it has become as famous as Japanese words as sushi or tempura to foreigners. Other reason for this is that Japan has many crowded trains. Look at this graph. The blue area shows the number of recognized indecent acts, including those outside of trains, and the orange area shows molestation on trains. The blue areas. In addition, most of the girls around me do not tell others even if they are victims. So I think the actual number of cases is much higher. Next is sexual harm to children. The represent of this graph of number of sexual assaults on children. The blue bars represent indecent exposure. The blue line shows for 24 instant exposure, and the pink line represents rape. Japan's sexual abuse of children is a social problem that has been recognized as a problem by the United Nations. Some say that this is encouraged by the fact that there are many child pornography contents. To prevent sexual crime, the response to reduced sexual victimization is also fundamental. Education children, but this is something that the government has to do. So what can we do to help prevent crime? First, this takes a lot of courage. Victims should speak up. Not only will it protect you, but it will also reduce the number of next victims. But victims are often too afraid to speak out when they are in incident. So if you witness a molester, be sure to report it. By doing so, you can help. Okay. And conclusion. Okay. The incidence of sexual crimes has not worsened, but they are no improvement. The variety of sexual crimes exists, but anyone can be victim. The national and local governments should prevent crime through education and other means, and we must report it if we are victimized or witnessed it. Thank you for listening.
Great, thank you very much. Thank you. You have provided a lot of data. Thank you very much for doing that. It's important also to check when your data is from. So please, everybody, reflect on the data that you have chosen, because it's important to get as recent data as you can, as I'm sure you already know. Okay, thank you. Then Misaki, please begin, or please get ready. Thank you. Oh, wow, you're quick. Thank you. Okay, I am going to cut you off if you exceed 5 minutes because we will not have enough time.
Hello everyone, I will introduce my presentation. The topic is Aging Society. I chose Aging Society as a topic of my presentation because I'm interested in this topic and I think it is a serious issue in the future, so I want to know more about it to cope with it. In this presentation, I will explain 3 points. First, what is aging society? Second, what is the problem of aging society? Third, what needs to be done to solve the problem? First, what is aging society? It is society that over 65 years old people are increasing. Everyone may hear that Japan is an aging society, but why does aging society occur in Japan?
Excuse me, Misaki, can you show your slide? I think you have a whole bunch of slides there. We're looking at your title slide right now.
Can I see my outline?
Nope. You just have not clicked on the slide so that we're not seeing it.
Can I see my outline?
No. Click on the slides
Yes, I click.
on the left side. Okay, then just please continue. Continue because the time is going to disappear.
Okay. What is the problem of aging society? The rate of single elderly households increase, so elderly people are likely to cause loneliness and increase the risk of dementia. Dementia is a medical condition that affects especially old people, causing the memory and mental abilities to gradually become worse and leading to confused behavior. Other problems also be likely to occur. For example, the increased cost of the social security system is developing into a major issue, and the population of young workers is less than elderly. This means the smallest group of people need to carry the heavy burden for supporting the pension system of our society.
Continue, please.
Looking at such problem, elderly people are often viewed as weak members of society regarding their general state of health. We should revise our opinion on them. What needs to be done to solve the problem?
Also.
To solve the problem, we should support for independence in old age so that a variety of lifestyle is possible, and revise of system and practice that treats the elderly differently just because of their age, and strengthening of intergenerational bonds and promote of elderly people's participation in the local community. Other solution is that to boost the birth rate, it will be necessary to set positive measures to support child raising, such as the establishment of more daycare centers and the adjustment of work. Summary,
Go ahead.
Japan is an aging society, and Japan is having a serious problems of aging society. So we should support elderly people from various aspects. Other countries have not faced this seriousness yet. So I think it is important for Japan to overcome this aging society successfully. Thank you for your listening. Do you have any questions?
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Okay. Okay, thank you very much. All right, may we go on? Who will be the next speaker? Shione. Great, thank you.
Hi, today I would like to presentation about LGBT. I choose it as a topic because I have an LGBT friend and have seen her suffer from discrimination many times, so I was interested in this issue. In this presentation, I will explain 1, what is LGBT, 2, about discrimination against LGBT, and 3, activities to eliminate discrimination. Do you know what is LGBT?
少々お時間をください。
LGBT is one term for sexual minorities and refers to people who experience a mismatch between their physical and mental gender, or who have a wide range of genders in their love relationships. In particular, the L in LGBT refers to lesbians who are female homosexuals. G also stands for gay, which is a male homosexual. B stands for bisexual, who falls in love regardless of gender. And T stands for transgender, which is a gender identity that causes a mismatch between the sex of the body and the sex of the mind. The fact that discrimination against them has not disappeared is now a problem in Japan. LGBT people are discriminated against in a variety of situations. I will explain 3 examples. First, they may face bullying from teachers, students, bosses, and co-workers with insulting words when they confide in them that they are LGBT. There have also been cases where people have been denied it even at an interview because of their LGBT status when looking for a job. Therefore, even though it is no wrong to be LGBT, they will hide their LGBT identity. The second is when you want to get married. In Japan, same-sex partners are not recognized, so they cannot legally become a family. This is rare in developed countries. Most developed countries in the world recognize it. The third is when they want to use a medical facility. As I mentioned earlier, same-sex partners are not recognized in Japan. So for example, if their partner has an accident or serious illness, they may not be able to visit their partner or get an explanation from the doctor because they are not family by law. Because of these issues, sometimes held parades by people who are aware of LGBT people and people who support LGBT, hoping for a society where LGBT people and non-LGBT people are treated equally. This photo is from a parade in Shibuya. Through these activities, LGBT issues are being discussed more and more these days. This has led to schools allowing students to wear uniforms that are different from their registered gender. Another impact of this activity is that sexual harassment in the workplace has become more strictly regulated. However, some same-sex marriage is not yet recognized by law.
Thank you, Shione. Can you wrap up just in 1 or 2 sentences? Thank you.
So to wrap up my presentation, LGBT is being discussed.
Excuse me, you don't need to read all of the sentences. And in fact, as I've told everybody before, there should not be complete sentences on the summary slide. And everybody so far today has written complete sentences. All right, so just sum up briefly as best you can.
LGBT is being discussed in many situations and is becoming more understood by many people, but discrimination has not completely disappeared. It's believed that if a law allowing same-sex marriage is passed, LGBT people will be better understood and not one will suffer from discrimination. I hope that fewer people will suffer just because they are LGBT. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Mhm. Yeah, do you have your, oops, okay. I guess you have your slides at the end, so thank you. Yes, thank you. It's also important to be able to adjust at the last minute if you need to. So everybody from now, please keep that in mind. If you're going over time and I tell you that you need to adjust, okay? All right, thank you very much. Then Dina, please, you are the presenter next. And also, please keep in mind that the reason that you chose this presentation is not part of the presentation. The beginning is saying your name and the explaining what is the problem.
Yes.
Okay.
Hi,
yes,
I'm
thank
Mina
you.
Hashimoto. Today, I'd like to talk about the garbage disposable problem in Japan. In the process of development, humans rely on environment that meet various needs. In fact, we produce a lot of things in this environment, such as buying packet food, bottled water, also throwing away when we finish it using. I wonder, in this situation, eco-friendly? Here is my outline of my presentation. First, explain the garbage disposable problem. Look at this slide. According to the Nippon.com, the disposable rate of garbage in Japan is decreasing year by year because in 1990, the government made rules on the disposal problem, like the home appliance and the food recycling law. These laws have had a positive effect of solving it. However, according to a June 2018 UNEP report, single-use plastic, Japan's plastic waste is 32 kilograms per capita year, second only to the US. Why does Japan have more plastic emission when it has smaller territory than other countries? There is likely to be a cause for food trays and plastic bags, and that is causing marine life problems. Have you ever seen this picture? To protect the richness of the sea, which is one of the goals of the SDGs project. This photo is about a turtle trying to eat or discard plastic bag by mistake or bite. Marine life is damaged by our self-lives. Plastic is a small microplastic in the sea, so marine creatures eat it by mistake. Such garbage also pollute the sea. Finally, introduce a solution about creating a sustainable society. Sustainable means that able to continue over a period of time and causing little or no damage to the environment. Related to SDGs initiative. The 3R initiative you have heard of deserve it: reduce, reuse, recycle. For instance, the Starbucks company introduced the paper cups and straw since in 2020. This project serves not only Starbucks, but also other cafe and family restaurants. At my job place, straws are abolished and I provide paper straw when customers tell me.
Oh.
Lush has been working on developing product. This company chose the packet-free sale service. Lush containers are made of 100% recycled plastic and can be recycled again when used. To wrap up my presentation, waste of garbage is decreasing. However, plastic packaging waste rate is second in the world. In order to solve this problem, 3R is important. Human beings are made of bond with nature. So we need to take care of nature and develop sustainable. Thank you for listening. Do you have any question?
I was laughing when you said to wrap up my presentation, and I thought, oh, we don't need wrap, right? We want to stop the wrap. It makes garbage. So I thought that's why I was laughing. So excuse me. But yes, that's an important thing, and it's great to see that the amount of garbage that we produce is decreasing, and I guess we all need to think about what we can do every day. And like you gave the example of Starbucks, maybe not even take their cup, but to bring your own could be an even better solution. But yes, everybody needs to work together. Okay, good, thank you. Then let us go on. Marin, how are you? Thank you, Dina. Are you able to present today?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Like,
Sorry.
okay.
Shall I share your slides?
Oh, here you go. Sorry.
Huh? Do you want me to do it?
Can you see my screen?
Oh, wait, I've just opened mine, so hang on. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, I think everybody can see your screen. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, hello, good morning, everyone. My name is Marine. So today I would like to talk about Japan's youth suicide rate. I know this is not a fun topic for morning presentation class, but let's get started. I found the article that Japan's youth suicide rate is highest in 30 years, published from CNN in 2019 says, according to the new government report, more Japanese children and teenagers killed themselves between 2016 and 2017 than in any year since 1986. I'm so surprised that a lot of teenagers like us ended their life for some reason. So I'm going to talk about mainly 3 points today, which is what is the special reason that Japanese teenagers ended their life. Second, why high school students took their life. Lastly, what is the plan to cap the suicide, like main policy in Japan? So first, I'm going to introduce reasons why they took their own life, including bullying, family issues, and stress. These issues led directly to the tragic ending, especially I focused on the stress, which comes from academic stress, like study stress. Japanese students experience an enormous amount of pressure at a very early age to perform well, achieve academically, and Japan is one of the most academic background-oriented societies. So some at very early age started to take an entrance exam to get into private elementary school or kindergarten. Second, why high school students and when was the highest rate of suicide? The government previously recorded an annual spike in suicide on September 1st, the start of the new school year, like back to school day. The reason why students suicide on the first day of the term is that the long break from school enables them to stay at home. So it's heaven for those people who suffer from school life or who suffered from bullying or other issues. This is one of the main reasons why end their own life. Nanae Munemasa says, when summer ends, you have to go back. And once you start worrying about getting bullied, committing suicide might be possible. What she said made me think about that even if we live in the society or spend time at school, there are so many people who suffer from bullied or in personal relationships at school. And lastly, in 2016, the Japanese government set out a concrete program that plan to cut the country's suicide rate by 30% by 2016, particularly for among young people. Part of the plan includes hiring counselors for every elementary and junior high school in the country, and launching a 24 hours helpline. I think it is important to teach children how to get help as soon as possible, because it becomes harder and harder to find help once they're already suffering. And to sum up my presentation, those statistical numbers made me realize how suicide is a huge and serious problem in Japan and in other Asian countries like Korea and China. So thanks again for giving me this opportunity, and it is a pleasure to introduce this topic to you guys today. And if anyone has any questions, I will be happy to try to answer them. Thanks so much. This is URL for my pictures. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Certainly, yes. The reasons that you pointed out are certainly never ending, are they? As for that, so it's a tough problem to solve. So thank you. All right, then let us go on to Nanaka.
Yes.
Okay, wow, like Marin said, we have a lot of heavy talk today. Oh gosh. Here's another cheerful topic. Okay. Yes, another serious problem. So let's hear what you have found out about it and how we can solve it. So
Can I start it?
certainly.
My name is Nanaka Murase. Today, I would like to introduce about lonely death. Imagine that. When, where, and with whom do you spend your time when you die? Friends, family, country. The number of lonely deaths that die alone in Japan is increasing. Lonely death can happen to anyone. I would appreciate it if you could learn even a little about lonely deaths in this presentation. First of all, I will explain about lonely death. Lonely death is mainly when a person who lives alone dies without being taken care of by anyone. It is easy to imagine old people such as grandfathers and grandmothers, but young people who live alone often die alone. Lonely death is discovered by neighbors because of the rotten smell of the dead body or by family members after death. This is because the number of single-person households is increasing as a cause of lonely deaths. Fewer people get married and more people live alone, so more people die alone. Poverty is also one of the causes. Another problem is that restructuring and bankruptcy of the company lead to divorce and lack of money to go to the hospital. Next, I will introduce example of lonely death. What I want you to pay most attention to is the room where someone dead. If you die alone, the room will be very miserable. First of all, the body decays and gives off a strange smell. Insects lay eggs on decaying bodies. Then the body melts away, and over time, the body disappears and becomes a stain on the floor. The remaining pets lives on the remains of their owners. Garbage is scattered in the room, and the room becomes a nest of insects and mice. This picture shows a room that actually dead alone. Some people are introducing this kind of rooms as a miniature work. The work I'm going to show you now is a miniature work. There are many cases of lonely death. If you die in a room, you will actually have a room like this. It's very tragic. There are also cases where—
I'm sorry, can you go on, please? Change the slide, please.
There are also cases where people suddenly die in a bath or toilet. So how we solve the problem of dying alone? First of all, you need to spend less time alone. There are many people who don't have a family, so I think it's important for local government to visit regularly to check their safety. Also, SNS, which we are working hard on, is very effective. I don't have many chances to meet people because of the coronavirus. I think SNS, which can be connected to people even if we can't meet, is very important in the future era. I introduced the big problem of lonely death in Japan. From now on, we will grow up, meet many people, and break up with many people. You may be alone in the end. Live a life where you can relate to people as much as possible. And I want to end up happy. This is ULL. Thank you for your attention.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Then let us move on to our last presentation. Sai, how are you doing?
Yes. Okay.
Thank you.
Can you show my screen?
I can see it, yes.
Okay. Are you watching TV less often than in the past? Today, I will introduce about lack of interest in TV programs. First, I would like to explain that why I choose this topic. The root of this problem is the spread of the internet. Television is the passive media for us. This means that we can get almost information by turning on the TV. However, if we use only internet, most of us will get information that we are interested in. Due to this, people's individual knowledge will be made a difference. Second, TV industry funding is reducing. This line graph shows comparison of Fuji Television's production costs in 2019 and 2020. In just 1 year, it has decreased by up to 6.1 billion yen. There is a major cause for this.
Advertising.
It decreased in advertising costs to TV stations. This line graph appears comparison of TV and internet advertising costs. TV's advertising cost is decreasing and internet advertising cost is rapidly increasing. These two graphs means that the demand of the internet have overtaken the demand of the television as a media. Next, I will explain about the reduced time spent with family. When TV was released, many people enjoyed watching TV with their families. By watching TV with family, we can share a topic. We can share a topic. However, in these days, people often watch program that we want on your smartphones that makes children unsocial and uncooperative. Finally, I will introduce about what is being done to solve the problem. You know Gal, TVer, and Hulu. These are different from another broadcasting applications. We can watch many Japanese TV programs by using these applications whenever. Moreover, TV station can earn money because these are linked with Japanese TV stations and these programs has commercials. I will talk my idea. If these applications broadcast not only commercial but also news information that people know will be much not devised, and I recommend you watching these programs with your family. Please ask me if you have questions.
Yes, okay, thank you. Yeah, I think you pointed out one of the serious reasons why people don't watch TV because they don't watch with their families anymore. And that's that picture that you showed with the showing the TV watching with a family, that seems kind of strange now, doesn't it? Because people don't do that much anymore. And when TV first came out, well, radio was replaced by TV and TV was replaced by the internet, and who knows what's going to replace the internet. I don't know, maybe virtual TV watching, who knows? Who knows? But yes, advertising is way cheaper online than it is for TV. So definitely, that's a big problem for funding. Okay, good. Thank you. All right. Well, we finished round one, group one of the presentations. Thank you very much for your hard work. I will prepare the video as soon as possible. The deadline to submit your self-evaluation, please, is by Friday. The reason for that is to allow you just to forget about presentation one for the next week, because you will have exams. So let us finish now so that